It's me. All right, so we're starting from the sanctuary. We've got a piece of heart. We've got Max and crossproduct starting from Link's house, getting just the best item: a single green rupee.
I love it, man. That's where it's at.
Now, Dragonstrike is doing the opening Houlihan route, which, at the very least, it's more reliable than Keysanity because you'll at least be guaranteed to be able to get some bombs from the bomb vendor and the bottle vendor's item as well.
Absolutely. It looks like Skipsy's, going for that as well here. So this guy's going to be grabbing a little bit of extra cash. We'll see if that comes into play. While Cross Product is heading over to Uncle immediately. Grabs the Moon Pearl.
So that's going to be important. One thing you learn if you look into the logic of this game, as it currently stands, the most likely location for any given required item to be is in one of the first available locations. So it's much more likely those first locations have a much higher likelihood of having something required. Or much is relative, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Cross Product's going to go hunt for some bombs here, kind of south of the Grove. Skipsy joining him there. And I didn't quite catch what was at Lumberjack. Did you manage to see it?
I did not. I'm not sure if he even checked it, but we'll see.
Did, though, get our first key here for Turtle Rock. So that seems pretty nice as an early find. Not going to be heading there anytime soon, but it's nice to have those in your pocket.
And we've got a big key as well. That is the big key to Ganon's Tower.
How convenient. Wow.
Well, there we go. We're not going to be digging around for that thing. That's Ganon's Tower. The big key for Ganon's Tower, I have started calling the second ice rod.
It's just so hard to find sometimes.
Yeah, and it can be basically anywhere.
Skipsy did decide to blindly check the race game item. It was a piece of heart. Noped right out of there. Spent the one bomb that he had farmed. Cross Product still farming bombs. Is content with 2. Maybe we'll catch Dragonstrike going up to Lumberjack now.
Yeah, so when you do the Houlihan route and then you pick up one bomb, you're like, that's okay, I'll use the bomb in the race game, then I'll go buy some at the vendor and we're fine.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense for sure. And
All
maybe
right,
we'll peek at Dragonstrike here and see what this item is.
It's a big chunk of change.
Horde of rupees there. Very nice.
We also did find the map of Eastern and the hammer in Kakariko Well. And a bottle.
Wow, good stuff. We've got a fun little quote from Cross Product here. Reading,
Don't set me up with that chick
text
from Thieves Town. I'm not interested in a blind date.
Oh, man.
That was like painfully good.
It's beautiful. Cross Product gonna farm up some bombs here since he did not do the Houlihan strats. It's a good way to gather some bombs, so definitely a good play.
Indeed.
MaxKetchumz grabbing that desert compass.
Now, one unfortunate thing for MaxKetchumz is because he did not do the opening Houlihan route and started from the top side, he does not have bombs, so he's going to have to go back into Blind's Hut and Kakariko Well to check those back sections.
It's unfortunate, but we're going to see our sick kid checked here. There's bombs for him, little kick in the pants, but...
Yep. And I believe we just found the Swamp Palace small key.
And we were talking about Swamp so much at the start, I mean, it just had to happen.
There we go. So, early Swamp Key is an indication that could be a big thing. You also want early Flippers and Mirror for that to be a thing.
Absolutely, and ideally the hook shot as well, so you can full clear the dungeon.
And definitely Hammer, but we have Hammer, so...
Right.
Yeah, and there's always the possibility that a dip into the first part of Swamp is required without the hookshot. You don't like it, but it's okay. It's like there's like 5 or 6 items you can check depending on if you have the big key. There's an Ice Palace small key at the vendor. Now, remember, the Ice Palace small keys generally not required for most people to complete the dungeon, but at the same time, the logic wants you to have them, so that could point you in the direction of Ice Palace.
It's also really nice to have at least one Ice Palace small key regardless.
Oh, it makes the routing so much better.
Though, yeah, the routing just improves so much more in that dungeon. It's just so much more manageable. Especially if you're without hookshot. It can really make the traversal easy. Skullwood small keys not so exciting.
It does make the routing a little easier there too, but not nearly as easy as it makes it in Ice.
Exactly.
But once again, the logic wants you to have both of those keys before you go fight Mothula, so finding both of those early is a good indication that you may need to go kill Mothula.
Right. Now, we don't know, what is a pendant and what is a crystal. We need to find a few more maps before we can make that happen. In Keysanity, you do need to find the maps for the dungeons in order for the map to reveal if that dungeon is a pendant dungeon or a crystal dungeon.
Yeah. More often than not, you will see players blindly clear dungeons without knowing what it is, just to get the information about what it is. Sometimes that's the only good way to do it.
Exactly. Or it could be extremely valuable if you see a map sitting somewhere on the ground, just go pick it up. Then you'll know exactly if you need to clear that dungeon or not. Although in Keysanity, you tend to check more locations, so you may have to dip into that dungeon anyways.
And then of course, it turns out that the map you saw on the ground and picked up turned out to be, the Ganon's Tower map, and you're just like, pfft.
True
But
story.
anyway, we also notice from that map check, the Eastern Palace is Crystal 5, and Desert Palace is Crystal 2.
That's right, already some Light World crystal dungeons. But we still need big keys for both of those dungeons in order to actually complete them. In addition to some other items.
I don't know, if I was Skipsy, I would have gone and grabbed that 8 bomb drop there.
Oh, yeah.
We did just find the map of Mire, but nothing else that relevant here in Mini Moldorm Cave. Pretty sparse for such an early location.
Crossproduct trying to take out these mini Moldorms with a hammer. Getting a bit low on health. Gonna have to switch over to bombs.
Yeah, Hammer has a low hitbox, or small hitbox, and Mini Moldorms are jerks.
They are. You can see it gunning for him, but he's getting through it.
Yeah. Jerk is the technical term there, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. Alright, Skipsy's heading into Ice Rod Cave. I always love checking these out-of-the-way locations. As you mentioned, maybe we'll see Hookshot in Agnes Cave. What could be an Ice Rod Cave, however?
Well, could be something, could be nothing. Turns out it's a little something.
Yeah, nice blue theme there in Ice Rod Cave. A blue tunic to go with the icy area there.
Nothing required, but certainly not unwelcome.
See Crossproduct setting up some fake flippers here. Maybe we'll see what's on Lake Hylia Island and at the Hobo.
Yeah, but interestingly enough,
could check Waterfall Ferry as well.
Interestingly enough, he is skipping that Ice Rod Cave with the blue mail in it, so...
We did see Bombos on Lake Hylia Island, so that could play a role later on if we need to get into Ice Palace, or any of the Turtle Rock or Mire have that requirement.
Oh, and there we find our first glove in the back of Saha's Rala's closet. Yet another great item coming from a location that's available right at the start.
Absolutely. In fact, that's Dark World access with Hammer, Gloves and Moon Pearl. Collectively, these guys have found Dark World access.
Right.
We need one player to actually get all three, but we're getting there. They got 2 out of 3.
In the
except
words of
MaxKetchumz.
Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right. Skipsy heading right into Eastern Palace after that Sahasrara check. Definitely not a bad plan. There are a number of locations here, but without the big key, you miss out on the big chest and the ability to get to the Armos Knights. In addition to that, you need Bow to get to those Armos Knights as well. Dragonstrike grabbing that blue mail. A nice pickup for sure. MaxKetchumz, oh no, had an unfortunate time there and took a death. Hopefully he can recover from that, but it wasn't too bad because we know there isn't a lot of good stuff in there, but he may go back.
So crossproduct is about to make the play on Agnes Cave. Now this is an interesting play, and it could be important.
And we only saw a piece of heart there in that map chest in Eastern. I think Dragonstrike's about to grab his Power Glove, so he will be the first one with full Dark World access. We know Green Pendant's in Ice Palace, by the way, thanks to that talk with Sahasrara.
Excellent. Just a big 20 today in Agnes Cave, so no trolls there.
Or was it a troll? Because crossproduct just got baited by it.
There is that. But it's an even bigger troll if all the other runners never check there and it turns out to be like bulk or something dumb.
Fair enough. So where are you off to, Cross? What are you doing?
Well, to be honest, I couldn't tell you. Maybe he's checking the Lumberjack Cave.
Got Dragonstrike already in the Dark World now, heading to Hype Cave. Can we get some hype for Hype Cave?
All
love Hype
right.
Cave.
The hype for Hype Cave is real.
Already
And there-
starting off strong with a cape.
Yep. And a sword. So
Wow.
if you were wondering if we needed to go to Aghanim, we actually don't, but you could.
It's an option, I guess. Now where you off to Dragonstrike, you kind of have to make a call between going left and right here, generally. So you can head towards, Stumpy and the digging game. You can definitely talk to this vendor and figure out where the 5-6 crystals are. We know Eastern Palace is one of them. It looks like Turtle Rock is the other one.
Yeah, so
Ouch.
you see Easter Palace, you're like, oh, I might need to do Pyramid Fairy. And then you see Turtle Rock, and you're like, probably not.
So cross-product going into the Lost Woods, he had missed out on those locations. Skipsy about to find that Moon Pearl will have Dark World access immediately.
All right. So now the fact that all 3 Dark World access items were in initially available locations means that all of these sort of Dark World open locations are now in the next sphere out, right? So like from there you can reach all these Dark World locations. So they're sort of the next most likely locations to have stuff.
Likely is a relative term.
Correct.
Because you can still find other items that branch out into other...
Oh yeah, there's
paths,
always going to be
basically.
extra stuff in the paths, but I find that the earlier something becomes available, the more likely it is to have something you want.
Right. And it's also nice to go into more lucrative areas of the map. It's nice to check overworld before you delve into dungeons in case you find the mints in the digging game or keys that can help you in those dungeons. So, holy smokes, what a find from Dragonstrike.
Yep, and that's one of those locations that opened up because of that Dark World access.
Max taking out the ball and chain guard here. Gonna grab his Zelda Cell chest reward of a piece of heart and piece right out of there.
So it looks like Dragonstrike is going to more than likely forego a trip into Thieves Town for the moment because he's got the Smith with him, and he has no way of returning to the light world except for saving and quitting.
Yeah, unless he finds that mirror pronto, he will have to save and quit before being able to even go into any dungeons, because when you do have a follower like this, you cannot enter dungeons.
The book available in the Peg Cave.
All that hammer handiwork paid off.
And boots in desert, which would be mean.
Oh, that would be cruel. Boots at Smith. That's what we really want, right?
Oh, that'd be impressive.
Cross product is heading towards his Dark World access. MaxKetchumz just got Dark World access, grabbing those gloves in Sahasrarla's hut. So these guys are on a good path. Skipsy appears to be heading towards Village of Outcast area. I guess he wants to buy some bombs before he heads there.
And there we go, cross product picking up the Dark World access. That is going to give everybody that Dark World access.
Both Cross and Max are heading to Eastern Palace, which we know didn't really work out too well.
Oh, there's a shovel
Well, that's
in the
fun.
tea house.
That could make for some fun routing if Dragonstrike decides to save quit and then kind of go the lower route from Link's house and head up to the Smith area.
He could also go see what's on the bumper cave right now, which seems promising. Don't think that the Smith can go through the bumper cave.
I'm not sure. I don't think he can either.
Because it's a 2-entrance cave, so it's on the dungeon map.
Exactly.
That being said, doesn't matter.
Yeah, just 10 arrows. No worries. It was a good check.
That's something I learned from playing Entrance Randomizer. Ding!
The more you know. But you can fall with the Smith, so Dragonstrike's doing a fun little tour here. And gonna check the back of Escape. It's a pretty sweet check because you get
Can you
3 chests.
fall into the Skull Woods holes with him?
I believe you can fall into any hole. Like, you can go to Ganon with the Smith.
That sounds like fun.
It is actually pretty funny.
So,
you can literally have a frog just, like, in the fight with you at Ganon. It's actually a thing that can happen.
my next match, I think I'm going to go out of my way to do that. Just never check Smith, and just...
It's gonna come back to bite you. It's gonna be something good at Smith if you do that.
I'm not actually going to do that. that would be silly.
Oh, more fetch quests. We've got a mushroom in Skull Woods, along with a Thieves Town map, which is pretty useful.
Alright, so I don't believe that the ball RNG in Eastern Palace is something that the devs have normalized. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so.
Are you talking about like an Eastern?
Yeah, that's. We were asked in chat, you know, is the ball RNG dependent on the seed? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so.
It isn't. Yo, half magic from the Smiths, smithing up some magic. It's pretty cool.
And the thing is, the half magic is actually a part of the logic for exactly one item.
And we do have the pieces of the puzzle for Spike Cave here. We need to be able to get there in the logic, so we need Lamp or Flute to get up to Death Mountain. But that is pretty cool.
Oh, I want to be a magic smith. Can I be a magic smith?
know. Do you want to be a frog sitting behind a rock for most of your life and then be a magic smith for the rest of your life?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you okay with that? If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see in the logic they actually added the half magic or a bottle to the logic for Trinex if you can only find the Master Sword.
Oh, you're right. That is fair. So I guess we have a couple things now.
Now we're a long way from Trinex.
Oh yeah, we have to find a lot of stuff to make that happen. But I mean, we have mitts. We can get up to Dark Death Mountain if we sequence break.
We can get to the entrance.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't really do anything inside. We did just find the mushroom in Skull Woods. And that is a kind of a big deal. Sort of. It could lead to one of the bigger trolls in the game.
Absolutely, and with no flute, you know, it takes a little bit of time to get over to that witch and turn that in. Don't even have boots to get there fast. But all these players are kind of heading in the same directions. I've seen crossproduct do a little bit more in the light world, with checking the castle and checking Eastern and all that, but now he's finally in the dark world. Really depends which direction he decides to go, if he's going to find those mitts or not, though.
Looks like the thief is trying to defend his town right now. They're from Dragonstrike.
I mean, makes sense, right?
He's having some issues.
He's got to give him the jukes. There we go. Max is already in there. Not really finding too much. Crossproduct is giving us our first pyramid check. He's got to survive. He's pretty low on health here. Oh, just kidding. There's a fairy. And there's the hook shot. Whoa.
All right, so the hook shot found in Thieves Town, and another sword. So once we get to Hype Cave, that'll be available as well. We'll get to the Master Sword that way.
And Master Sword does unlock one item at Ether Tablet, inevitably, and another one at Bombos if we get the mirror.
Wait, where was the book?
Book was... Where was the book? Oh, hammer pegs.
Oh, right. Yeah, hammer pegs. Hammer pegs.
I was like, where did Dragonstrike go that no one else went? It's like, he has the mitts. He could do hammer pegs. Pretty clever.
Indeed.
Pushing that advantage. I really like when players push the advantages that they have. You know, like, I went the direction that got me these mitts pretty quickly. Let's use them as much as we can, while still being efficient with our route.
Alright, so Dragonstrike is going now to make the sequence break up Death Mountain. This seems like it could be pretty lucrative.
Yeah, I like the play quite a bit. And you get the old man portal as well, which is nice when you save quit. We're seeing a catfish check from crossproduct. This can also be a big play. Very out of the way.
Nope.
Rip. Look at this sync from Max and Skipsy.
We're going to see some synchronized Titans myth action here.
That is fantastic for both of these guys.
I'm pretty sure synchronized Titans myth is a new Olympic event coming up in the next Summer Olympics.
I'm gonna be watching and waiting. Wow, that was like exactly the same time. It was so good. Oh, man. All right, let's see what's up on Spectacle Rock. Looks like just a 10 arrow upgrade.
Yeah, so the digging amount is seeded, or it is the RNG is fixed in place at the beginning of the seed.
Right.
But
All
they
players
didn't
will get
start
the
it
same
exact-
number of digs.
They didn't start at exactly the same time. It just happened that they ended at about the same time. Alright, so Dragonstrike is going to pick up 300 rupees in the Spectacle Rock Cave, which, you know, when you haven't been to Zora and you've been this starved on rupees the whole time, it seems like a pretty decent play.
Seems fine. I mean, grab the rupees while you can. Maybe it'll come in handy for some potions later on, too. You know, while you're turning in that mushroom. Because we might find even more rupees up here on Death Mountain. A lot of items to check in the Light World and the Dark World. We also have the Master Sword, Hookshot, and Hammer, so we can head over to Ether Tablet and check a couple items in Hera. There's a lot to do here.
All right. So welcome to Paradox Cave, home of 7 items.
This is the place to be. If you're gonna sequence break somewhere, it might as well be here.
We've got a Skullwoods map and just a piece of heart downstairs or upstairs or downstairs, whatever.
I'm telling you, Bob, like, I really love getting those maps early. Just gives you the information that you need to kind of direct you to where you might want to go.
Yeah, having the knowledge about what dungeons are required is always important. Or it's at least very important over time.
There's our single arrow of dreams, the powder.
All right. He also found a Aga Tower small key, which is another thing that might troll you in the end. But yes, the beautiful magic powder is available. It's the best. It's so good.
That means the magic bat is available now. With hammer and magic powder, we can get there. Love how Skipsy's also doing a little frog world tour here. Taking the frog up to Catfish. As Max is also following that same route. These two guys have been doing very similar routing. And they're not even racing against each other.
All right, so Dragonstrike heading through the Spiral Cave. There's another item in here that might be relevant. And it turns out to be another Ice Small Key. So, I believe there are only 2 small keys for Ice Palace in the chest.
Correct. That is correct. Only 2 small keys for Ice Palace, so I believe we found both of those at this point.
Yes, so in order to access Ice Palace, we're going to need, at least according to the logic, we're going to need the flippers. And we're also going to need either the mirror or the fire rod. And I say the mirror because the Bombos is on the Lake Hylia Island.
Exactly. Nice hookshot clip there from Dragonstrike. And we're seeing Max leaving Catfish, so this could be potentially pod play, but it looks like he's hookshotting over to North Dark World.
All right, so Dragonstrike finds the big keys of Eastern Palace and Turtle Rock in Super Bunny Cave, or in this case, Super Big Key Cave.
Super big keys for 5-6 Crystals Cave.
Good lord, that's... Wow. You didn't even... That didn't even occur to me, but absolutely that is the case. Now, we're going to need a lot more items before we can get done with that, but... There you go.
We still need Bo to beat Eastern. I mean, but Bo could be in the big chest there. And we need a bunch of stuff for Turtle Rock. I'm not even going to go into it. There's just too much.
Though some of it could be here in the Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, and we found out that Quake is the thing we need to get in.
And there's Quake. right
So
there in
nice.
Hookshot Cave,
So
right next
convenient.
door. And a big key of Tower of Hera, which would be nice if we
Wow.
had the mirror.
And the dig in the Haunted Grove ends up with the Ice Palace big key. So lots of big keys coming out here for all our players. So many on Death Mountain.
The shovel turning out to be a pretty big play as well. Shovel, of course, in the Sea House, which was in the second layer of items available. And therefore, the Ice Palace big key is in the third layer of items available.
Right, so if that big chest holds something really important, or I guess Cold Stare, then, you know, the layers could just keep adding up.
Yep. So Dragonstrike, upon getting that Tower of Hera big key, because he has no mirror, saves and quits, goes back to the mountain cave, and he's going to climb back up so that he can use the hammer to get to Tower of Hera. Normally, he would use the mirror, and it would be a lot faster trip, but we don't have a mirror.
And maybe he'll find the mirror over there, so this could be a pretty big play. I mean, we can actually finish Tower of Hera with that big key. We won't be able to get the basement and go through the tile room unless we find a small key up here for Hera, but at least we can finish the dungeon and kill Molnorm.
Yeah, finding the mirror in or around Tower of Hera is just kind of trolly, just as far as routing goes, but at least you know it's going to troll everyone.
Absolutely. Well, here's a small key. What could it be? Hyrule Castle small key. Not so good.
We didn't see anything important in the boomerang or the Zelda's cell, did we?
No, but I don't think any player has actually gone for the sewers chest. I think that's an open item, and then obviously we have some Aga Tower items that players haven't gone for.
Now the
But we
sewers
don't have
chest.
the lamp, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
The sewers chest doesn't actually require that key, though. The only two
Correct.
that in the logic require it are the ones in the dungeon.
Absolutely. But going in there in the dark can be a little tricky. So you generally don't see a lot of players going for it.
Alright, so there's some bombs in the back side of the Hera lobby. Meanwhile, Crossproduct picking up his hookshot and his Master Sword in Thieves Town.
Looks like he wants to death warp out of here. He still hasn't picked up his mitts yet, so he's probably going to route south and hopefully find those at the digging game. Max just found the powder there.
Getting through Paradox Cave, grabbing some, spoils.
Absolutely. Now, what's interesting is everything that Dragonstrike and Max and Skipsy are doing is a sequence break. This is all a sequence break right now.
Speaking of sequence break, Dragonstrike just found the small key to Desert. That's kind of big. Small key to Desert is a part of the logic for 3 items. 2 of which it's basically the only thing outside of getting into Desert. And the Ice Rod in the big chest of Hera.
That is a great find. And we found both Ice Rods now. That's good. As you said,
the second Ice Rod has also been found.
Yeah. That's some progress. See what Dragonstrike does here against Trolldorm. Bust out that hammer and can do some sword spins for an efficient fight. Hopefully not falling off. Whew.
Alright, there's 1. And 2. And 1 more should do it. There you go.
Beautiful.
The only thing you want to be careful of with the Master Sword is make sure not to poke him. Or if you do, poke him again.
That's right. Cross about to grab those mitts. He's probably feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah. He's probably feeling good about the mitts, but he is kind of by far the last runner to pick those up, so maybe he feels like, oh man, I'm so behind at this point.
But he's definitely checked a lot of stuff that the other guys haven't, like some of them haven't been into the castle, and he's done all of that. You know, some of them haven't been in Eastern, he's done that. So, I mean, he's been exploring other places in the game that maybe collectively the other runners have done, but he's already knocked him out, so he's not gonna have to worry about that later. But he's thinking, what's the next play? Dragonstrike is going for castle right now. We'll see if he goes up to the Aga Tower. No, he's just gonna go for his back side of the castle.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the lamp is in the first chest of Aga Tower.
That would be a great place for it. The other place I could see it maybe being is in Pod. Could be like in the first chest of Pod or something.
Yeah, Pod is a thing. Yeah, the thing with Pod is we haven't seen any keys. Oh no, we saw one.
We saw one at the Old Man.
And it's a sequence break. So
yep, which cross product is doing now. He's like, all right, fine. I've been trying to avoid sequence breaks, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Although he did fake flipper earlier, so I guess maybe throw that out the door.
But the idea with the fake flippering there is, you know that Zora's in the logic, and you're just gonna take care of that while you can. But he didn't have money for Zora anyway, so never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of which, that is something that is in the logic now that these guys can do. And they can even use fake flippers with the Moon Pearl to check like Waterfall, Fairy Cave, and all that. So there's some stuff to do in that area too.
Yeah, so nobody's been anywhere near the pedestal since the book has been found.
Well, Dragonstrike's the only one with the book, actually.
Correct.
So he would be the only one actually able to check it.
The only way I could see us getting a pedestal check is if, you know, he finds the fire rod and the mirror and decides to go to Skullwoods.
Trying to set up this death warp here.
Apparently in the new version of the logic, when you or in the next version...
He just got a full refill from that piece of chest. Oh, he paused for a second and was just super sad.
The good old Sank Heart piece.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah, apparently in the new version of the logic, they're adding messages to the keys you pick up even when they're in the dungeon that you're corresponding to. So, for example, when you pick up that big key off of the guard, it'll say, you found the big key of this dungeon.
Again, Max and Skipsy just following right behind each other.
There's a whole lot of repetition of routing going on here, and Dragonstrike is going to make that play on at least the first chest of Aga Tower. Second chest, perhaps? The dark room for the second chest, actually not as bad as people think it is.
No, it's actually not too bad, if you know what you're doing, basically. Or pulling
if you intend to go past the second chest, no.
Well, there's the fire rod in the first chest.
Okay, so
use that to light the lamps in that room.
That's nice. Close to the lamp, right?
And it's an amazing item that'll allow us to finish Skullwoods, and we're actually getting closer to that T-Rock play. We just need the red cane. And we can get in there. We can't do necessarily a lot in there, because, I mean, we only have two T-Rock small keys. So, I mean, we can do some stuff there, but we still need red cane either way. Can't do anything without that.
Ooh, the silver arrows!
Wow! Aga Tower loaded here today. So good. Great play from Dragonstrike.
So the Aga Tower first chest is 100% in the logic right now. Because you can get Cape or Master Sword from things that are in the logic. And so that fire rod kind of gives you a big indication about where you might want to go next.
Speaking of Cape, we got Skipsy here in Spike Cave, checking out what's going on here. Only 10 arrows.
Ugh. Not pretty. And I think MaxKetchumz might be following in his footsteps.
I mean, their minds are literally like melded together right now. Like they're doing the exact same plays. It's pretty amazing to see.
Now, Dragonstrike, it appears, is doing the fake flipper action. We find the bomb. He finds the bombos. He'll probably go to Zora, I'd think, and then he may end up going into Ice Palace if he feels comfortable fake flippering that like that.
Yeah, I think Ice Palace is actually a very strong play right now. Even though we know it's a pendant, it's the green pendant. But he also has not picked up the big key.
Right. I kind of feel like I would want to finish Skullwoods first.
That's fair.
Because it's in the logic. Whereas Ice Palace is like, eh.
Well, what's funny about that is that Skullwoods it may also be a pendant. That's what's interesting.
There is that.
As well. Yeah. But he is going for the Zora area, so this is gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, because once again, Zora isn't the logic, so this is a play you might feel interested in making as early as possible. Oh, and there's the lamp.
Wow. So where are our flippers? That's the real question.
Skullwoods. They're in the back of Skullwoods in the bridge chest.
It's a good place for them.
They actually could be at Mothula. I'm just being that guy. I'm just saying, like, that's where they are. Just don't question it. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's certainly possible, but we could also find like Red Cane in back of Skullwoods, and then that could lead us to Turtle Rock. Just kidding! There's the Red Cane from Zora. Holy smokes!
Nice.
What a
so
play!
Red Cane available. Ooh, we might see them in Turtle Rock then.
Yeah, that's looking like a pretty good place to go, but we don't have all the small keys we need to actually complete the dungeon, unfortunately.
Right.
We're getting there. That Pyramid Fairy might be something really important in this run, with just the amount of major items we have and the ability to actually get into Turtle Rock right now. Turtle Rock could easily have, something like flute or mirror or flippers or bow or boots, like all these things. But I think Dragonstrike's going for desert with that book in hand.
The desert play seems pretty solid at this point.
He's got that small key, so it makes a lot of sense.
And we see MaxKetchumz picking up that second ice rod.
That's right. Skipsy already grabbed their ice rod, taking on Trolldorm right now. Careful. Oh!
And Trolldorm claims another victim.
Crossproduct probably not going to be happy to see this Hera big key after going into Hera there. But Skipsy does take down Trolldorm here. Well done. Hard-fought battle. And Max is just starting the fight with Hammer. It's going to be a little tricky.
Dragonstrike is checking the items over here that he found with the desert small key. Now, if we recall, that was up there on in the Tower of Hera. So, still the sequence break remains. You'd have to find the those flippers to repair the sequence break, or the flute.
Right. And we did find a small key for Meyer, which is not amazing. It can help you with some routing there, but it's not necessarily what you're looking for. And we found a fairy in a bottle on that right side in Desert.
Yep. And Dragonstrike gonna go get jebaited by Agnes Cave.
Now, unfortunately, Max did take a double floor fall there from Troll Dorm. So another victim of the Troll Dorm. He's gonna give it another shot, so hopefully we'll knock him out now. Crossproduct about to be the second person to find that book. So this is interesting.
Yes, our second literate runner today.
I think Dragonstrike is making the play on Eastern Palace. He'll be able to check the big chest here, which none of the other players have done. So
Yeah, if that turns out to be Bo, that's huge.
It's huge if it's Bo. Absolutely huge. Give him a huge advantage over Max. But Max does grab that crystal here in Hera to tie it up with Dragonstrike and Skipsy.
What'd be interesting to me is if it turns out to be like flippers. Because if it turns out to be flippers, then you know that the flute has to be somewhere that's not lamp locked.
True. Now, what's also interesting is I don't think we've seen the purple chest delivered. So that could also have the flippers as well.
Interesting.
I was thinking about it when Cross grabbed the dwarf here. I don't think anybody's done that, so some interesting plays can be made. Skipsy gonna go get the fire rod here. We'll see if they also head on over and grab those silvers, because that's pretty nice to have. Especially with Meyer required. If we can find that bow before Meyer, that'll be sweet. Ice Palace, big key for Cross.
And it does look like we have, in fact, managed to piece together all the crystal and pendant information while I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it appears Pod is our last pendant. Man, I'm feeling like there's something in Ice that we gotta go get. Having that big key, getting a couple small keys early on, and it being the green pendant.
Could very well be a thing.
Still need to find flippers for that to be in the logic.
Yeah, very important.
But a sequence break could still pay off potentially. We just don't know.
Alright, so just a big heart in the Eastern Palace big chest. I'm not going to say I'm surprised, because I'm not.
Is this our first player to check Magic Bat, or did somebody else already check this? Because Cross is about to check Magic Bat.
Oh boy. I don't know what happened with that first one.
I don't think he was close enough. Barely missed it.
And it's just a compass of Ganon's tower, so at least he'll have a nice big counter when he goes in there to not check anything.
Hey, you never know. Maybe... I don't know. What can possibly happen? I don't think anything can actually happen with the pendants that we have.
We could have, nope. We could have nope.
We could have nope, exactly. I think one of the big dungeons that no player has decided to go into is Palace of Darkness, but we only have one key. So it can be a tricky decision to make that play. But we're starting to run out of options. I think Dragonstrike is going to make the fake flippers play to ice, though. I think that's where he's going. It's full clearable. Max made that Zora play and paid off. Got that red cane.
So the Cane of Samaria, very available. Now, of course, we do note Misery Mire is a pendant, and we've seen a crystal, excuse me. We've seen no sign of the flute anywhere.
No, I mean, there are these places like Ice Palace, which Dragonstrike has finally decided to go into, which is a pendant, but can have a lot of value. There's Turtle Rock, which is a crystal that we can get into, and if you do have the Fire Rod, you can do a decent amount of it. I mean, even if you don't, with 2 keys, you can still do a good amount of it.
Yeah. I feel like Turtle Rock could have the flippers. I feel like Skull Woods, that back area, has a decent chance of having the flippers. I mean, the thing is, we have found both Skull Woods keys, so... Or at least for one of our runners has found both Skull Woods keys, and that's why he's going there. Because Skipsy is... Skipsy knows what's up.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, you get the Fire Rod. Where else are you going? Within the logic, you know, that's the play you make, I think, before you go to TR. Cross Product did just get that lamp, so I'm sure he's
Alright,
pretty good with
that chest was blue, but it wasn't flippers.
But Cross is not going to Zora.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. He's decided to turn in that mushroom instead. Maybe he'll go back for Zora.
Yeah, he could go back. I mean, right now without the flute and without the mirror and without some other stuff, this is basically the best option.
I like that powder on the...
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
The big key of Skull Woods. Interesting. From that mushroom.
That's a nice thing to have.
Now, where was the mushroom?
It was in Skull Woods.
Wow. It was right next door, wasn't it? It was in the chest right next to it on the right.
It's pretty troll.
That is the worst.
But yeah, Skipsy did already check that big chest. He's a little low on health coming into this fight, but he's got half magic and it's just nuking him down. Really nicely done. Beautiful moth. Oh! There's the flute! You were right, there is some value here in Skull Woods. That is huge. That is some great mobility across the world. And we can check the mire area as well, which is really nice.
Very nice.
Crosswall walked all the way back to Zora, and he was not disappointed because he just picked up that red cane, so that's pretty big.
Was quite a good call. Yeah, flippers could be in Misery Mire now, which is fun.
Oh, that's disgusting. I think Cross might be going to Agate Tower now as well. But he could also check the sewers chest with that lamp, too.
Alright, so Skipsy is walking out of Skull Woods. We'll see what he's going to do next.
Just found a small key for Pod in ice there.
Alright.
And yeah, Max is going to beat Cross out here to that sewers chest. And this might be a purple chest check for Skipsy.
Interesting. That, I mean, if he was gonna save and quit to the light world to get that flute anyway, seems like a pretty good call.
It makes a lot of sense since he hasn't done hammer pegs as well. Grab that book, so that's pretty nice. There's only a red rupee in the sewers chest in Escape. Cross is setting up a death warp here. It's a good play.
Yep, and he's gonna go for that Agate Tower play, which is gonna be huge for him.
Yeah, both him and Max are actually doing this like nearly simultaneously, so we got a new sync going on, and I think it's likely that they'll end up in Skullwoods as well. So this is a clever play from Skipsy. He's grabbing that purple chest, and then he's going to go activate the flute. And then he's going to go flute over to 7 and deliver that purple chest. I like this a lot.
All right. So, if you'll indulge me for a minute, I believe we may need to rise for the International Swag Duck Anthem.
All rise!
Sometimes I wish that I were an eagle soaring high, or a falcon in the sky, but I'm out of luck, 'cause I have tried so hard, and I have got so far, but turns out in the end, I'm still a duck.
Beautiful. Alright, we got some cold stare action coming at you on Dragonstrike's side. Trying to do some Master Sword spins. This is brutal. He's a little low on magic, so he's trying to preserve it as best he can.
Oh yeah. Making use of spins, they're going to do as much damage as that Tempered Sword. And, you know, if you can get him up against the wall, you can hit him twice, which is pretty good.
Alright, takes him down, no problem. And the reward is 20 rupees. Unfortunate. We still have that green pendant. That could come into play for a couple different reasons.
Now, unfortunately for Dragonstrike, he has not dug up the big key of Ice Palace.